This is the ULT 5520 panel glazing video number 3. Here we're going to be glazing the middle X panel of an XXO. This is the middle panel of the stack, and it's a sliding panel with high-low interlockers on both sides. Again, like the other two panels, we have the wraparound glazing gasket that starts at the top part of the top left corner at a 45-degree angle, wraps around all the way to the glass, comes back, and meets at the 45-degree angle. We're going to again start with the top rail, which looks like this. We're going to put it on the top of the glass gently and bang it in. Then we're going to take the bottom rail. Now the bottom rail, just like in the other sliding panel, has wheels, so it's a sliding bottom rail. It has a fin, which is an unequal leg, and that always goes to the exterior facing side of the track cavity. That goes on the glazing gasket as such, gently, and goes in. Now, this sliding panel has two high-low interlockers. High-low interlocker is like a standard interlocker, but it has a high-low tube attached to it. And both sides of this panel have high-low interlockers. The bottom of the interlockers have 4 holes. The top of the interlocker has 2 holes. The difference between the two interlockers is in the notching at the top. The interlocker facing the exterior portion of the panel has an L-shaped notch, as you can see here at the top. And the interlocker facing the interior portion of the panel has a much smaller U-shaped notch in the header as such in the tube of this section as well. Okay, the U shape is on the face of the tube here, and the L-shaped notch on the outside interlocker is on the outside part of the tube as such. What we're going to do now, we're going to attach the interlocker to the glazing gasket. We're going to move the glass over to the edge of the horses. We feed it in gently to the glazing gasket, and then we take a mallet, bang it in place. Then we'll do the same thing with the other one. Feed it in. Now, we're going to first attach the top part again. The top part is like all the other panels. We use the interlocker support clip, which is an extrusion as such with 3 holes in it, and we feed it so that the flat part of the plate is against the web of the interlocker and the long side is on the top. You have 2 screw embosses, and we go into what holes?
First and second.
And we're going to shoot into hole number 1 and 2 from the top using the number 12 by 1.5 hex head washer fastener, which looks like this. Okay, we're going to repeat the process on the other interlocker. We're going to feed the interlock clip into the web as such, and the first and second hole from the top we're going to be used to attach the interlocker to the top rail. And if you notice, the tubes are on opposite sides of the panel. One tube is on the top part and one tube is on the bottom part. So if both your tubes are facing the same direction, you know you're not glazing this correctly. Now we go to the bottom of the panel, and we're going to go to the exterior portion of the panel first and do that. If you go to the bottom, we'll notice that the bottom rail has an unequal fin here, but there's no fins on either interlocker. So we're going to apply those in a moment. First, we take the same interlocker support plate, same extrusion as before, as on the top, but it's a lot longer. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has 7 holes. We're going to feed it again, flat part to the web, top longer part at the top. Now, before we do that, we're going to take the number 12 by 1.5 hex washer fastener. And which holes are we going into, Victor, here?
It's 4 and 5.
The 4th and 5th hole from the bottom is what we're going to go into. And that connects it to the bottom rail screw embosses. And then we take a number, a quarter 20 by 1.5 inch machine screw, not a fastened by a machine screw. We put it at the bottom hole, and that will go through the bottom hole of the washer and into the housing of the roller into a tapped hole. So 3 fasteners attach the interlocker to the bottom rail. We repeat the process on the other interlocker as well. The interlocker clip goes in there. The same fasteners, both holes 4 and 5. And then the machine screw at the bottom hole. We have to, now this is a good idea, we have to bang it in, there's a little bit of a gap here, so we want to bang it in a little bit, line it up a little bit so it's nice and level. That's why it's important to make sure all these things line up and they're level. Okay. Now we're going to take the end, then we're going to take the, what we call, it's the interlocker fin clip. And this is an angle that's machined. It has 4 countersunk holes. And what it does, it's an applied-on fin, so it matches the fin of the bottom rail. Now what we do here is we notice that there's 2 screw embosses in the interlocker support clip. We're going to use those to fasten this clip into. So we line up the holes with those 2 screw embosses. We use number 10 by 3/4 flathead fasteners, and we attach this fin to the bottom of the interlocker on both sides. If you notice now, by making it nice and tight, the fins line up. So the fins here of the interlocker now line up with the fin of the bottom rail. And then what we do is we apply a pad at the end here, and we're done, and the pad is level with that. And then we're going to repeat the same process. We're not going to do that now, but we're going to repeat the same process on the other interlocker. So to have a continuous fin all the way across. So when it's connected, it'll all look like this. We're just trying to save some time in the video, but that's exactly what happens. You're going to do the same thing here as you did here. And that's the middle panel of the XXO configuration for the 5820. And again, make sure you understand the tubes have to be on opposite sides of each other or they're not done right.